Welcome to another presentation of the Silent Sports video blog. This is episode 33, and today's date is October 2nd, 2017. Thank you so much for watching. Tyler the Assassin, also known as Troy West, thank you so much for watching. This is a special blog as I preview the Major League Baseball playoffs, which begins tomorrow night with the American League wildcard game. And we're from now into the World Series, probably for the next three weeks or so. Playoff action in baseball. This is when I really start watching baseball a lot during the playoffs. The intensity is much more better. The gameplay is better. Every at bat counts. Baseball playoffs are very, very fun to watch. Of course, not a lot of baseball fans. I'm gonna say it's not a lot, but not a lot of open baseball fans, I should say. A lot of my people or my friends that I know not really into baseball at all. I've been watching baseball, say, for about over 20 years. Grew up an Atlanta Braves fan, as I probably mentioned a few times. Orioles fan. I am from Baltimore, but I was an Atlanta Braves fan. It was the first team I ever really rooted for ever as a child. Of course, they didn't make the playoffs, nor did the Orioles. So even though I had the Orioles making one of these wild card spots, but they fell short. But I'm going to give you all my predictions from the wild card games all the way through the World Series. Of course, starting with the American League. I'm going to go to the American League. I'm going to do that side. Then I'm going to the National League side. Then I'll give you my prediction for the World Series. First, let's start in the American League with the wild card. Of course, the two teams that's in it, the New York Yankees will be at home tomorrow night to face the Minnesota Twins. Luis Severino is on the mound for the Yankees, as Eric Santana will step on the mound for the Twins. Good pitching matchup, and that's the disadvantage of playing in this game. You pretty much most likely put your ace out there. There's both of these teams' best starting pitcher anyway. Then if you win, you gotta lip on to the next series, which the winner of this game will face the Cleveland Indians, and the American League Division Series, of course. I think that series starts on Thursday. I got the Yankees winning this game, though. I think the Yankees just the better team. The Twins, I guess I should apologize. I had them finish last in the AL Central, but they surprised me and a lot of people and made the playoffs. First team to lose 100 games the year before and make the playoffs the next year, so that's a big accomplishment. They're an up-and-coming team. I think they'd be much better next year, but I think they run will end with the Yankees winning at home. Of course, it's just one game, so you got to win one game. Baseball is tricky. It's hard to predict one game, but I think the Yankees will do it and win it at home and move on to the ALDS. Of course, monster year by Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez. Greg Bird is back for the Yankees. Very deep lineup. I think that'd be too much for the Twins in this game. I think they prevail and move on. So that means they will face the Cleveland Indians in the American League Division Series, as I mentioned. As the Indians are the American League, have the top record in the American League, so they get home field throughout the American League playoffs. Houston and Boston, of course, that matchup is set. Boston, of course, is the American League East champion. Houston, the West champion, which was a shock to me this year. Thought they might compete for a wildcard spot. I had the Rangers winning this division, but Houston was able to win it going away, really, from the first 2 months of the season. They could build a big lead and never really let it up. Boston, I just thought, I like their team. I like how cohesive this team is, but I think they'll fall short. I got Houston winning this series in 4 games. I think the starting pitcher for both teams, I think Sale will start for Boston and Crocker will start for Houston. They top 2 pitchers as well. Top 2 pitchers in the American League, period. I think Houston is just a little bit deeper. They have a mix of power and speed, and I think they will win this series in 4 games and move on to the ALCS. Yankees and Indians. Yankees, of course, I got winning a wild card, but it doesn't matter. Even if the Twins win the wild card and make it, I think Cleveland will still win this in 4. It really don't matter which one of these teams are. I think Cleveland, to me, probably playing the best baseball out of all these teams that's in the postseason right now. I imagine they're going to start Corey Kluber in Game 1. Don't know who the Yankees will put out there. I'm guessing Sabathia maybe, but we'll see what they do. I think they'll get a game, but I think Cleveland will win in 4 and move on. So my ALCS matchup features the Indians and the Astros. The Indians, of course, are the 1 seed. Houston is the 2. So Cleveland will have the home field. I think they beat the Astros at 6. I think they just a little bit deeper, and they're pitching a little bit better, and a bullpen as well. I think they beat the Astros in 6 games. Like I said, I think Edward Encarnacion will start to show why he was picked up. He's one of the best postseason clutch hitters, even though Houston got one as well, Carlos Beltran. If you just look at those guys' numbers in the postseason, it's unbelievable. I think that's the combination you need to win. Strong starting pitcher and a clutch hitter that get big hits in big moments. And both of these teams has it, but I think Encarnacion right now is the better player. I think Cleveland will win this series in 6 games and move on to the World Series. So that's it for the American League. I really like Cleveland. Really don't see them losing to any of these teams. If I had to pick a team that might, I think Boston is capable of beating Houston. I just don't see it happening. But that's probably the only other team I would say that would make it further than what I got them is Boston. I don't think the Yankees or the Twins, I just don't think they have enough to get out of the division round. So I got Cleveland representing the American League, and that means they go back to the World Series back to back, hopefully try to redeem themselves from last year, losing in 7 games to the Chicago Cubs, of course, last year. So I'm gonna move on to the National League wild card game, which is Wednesday, as the Colorado Rockies held on to that final spot. The Brewers and the Cardinals was charging in on them fast. Arizona pulled away as they had I think it was a 12-game win streak in August that pushed them above the top. They will be at home against the Rockies. Of course, both of these teams from the National League West. Then they had these teams making it. I think by National League wild cards, I had the San Francisco Giants and the who else I had? Had the Giants and I think I had the Cardinals. Yeah, I did have the Cardinals making it. That was my 2 wild cards teams. If you go back to my very first episode, that's why this episode means a lot to me. This reminded me of my first episode. But both of those teams, they make it. The Cardinals, of course, push hard. Giants, last place team, just got off to a rough start and never recovered. But I got Arizona winning this wild card game. At least they playing good baseball right now. Probably other than the Indians, they probably played the best baseball in the last month or so. They put Zach Greinke on the mound, which I think is the difference maker as well. John Gray will start for Colorado on Wednesday. The pickup of J.D. Martinez was huge from the Tigers. He's been a monster since he's been in Arizona. Give him another bat. Of course, they still got Goldsmith. I like the Rockies lineup, very deep lineup with Blackman and Arenado and Trevor Story and the others for the Rockies. But I think they just think that Greinke gonna shut them down, and Arizona will move on to the American League Division Series. That means they will face another division rival in the LA Dodgers. Gotta check stuff there. I think the Dodgers is the home field throughout the playoffs. Of course, they changed the rule with the All-Star game doesn't count as home field anymore. So whoever has the best record get home field. I think the Dodgers edged out the Indians. I'm gonna check that out right now, actually, once I get through all my picks here. The National League Division Series that's already set. The Washington Nationals and the Chicago Cubs. This is a very, very interesting series. This series, to me, is a coin flip. I'm gonna go with Washington at 5. Of course, the best of 5 in the division series. The Scherzer injury concerns me. They don't have a starting pitcher yet. I think the Cubs going with Arrieta, I believe, will start. No, game one. Matter of fact, let me be sure about that. Check that right now. I just think it's the Nationals' time. They been on the doorstep for the last few years. I think the Cubs, they turned it on near the season, but I think they just don't think they're the same team from last year, and it's hard to repeat. I think the last repeat champion was the Yankees when they won their 3 straight. I don't think no other team repeated since then, so that's a long time ago, back in the early 2000s. So I'm gonna check. The Cubs starter. I think they named their starter for game one. I don't. Nationals still undecided. Let's see. Game one. Actually, now let's see. Looks like neither team has chosen. Let me see. But anyway, either way, I got Washington winning this series in 5. I am worried about the Max Scherzer injury. Wouldn't be surprised if the Cubs win the series. This is probably the toughest for me to pick. Yeah, I don't see a starter. Look like they don't have it here. They had it here earlier, but I think it's Arrieta. I'm not sure, but I got the Nationals winning in 5. I just think lineup just a tad bit deeper. They get Bryce Harper back. I think it'd make just the slightest difference them being at home, even though home field don't mean a lot in baseball. But I got the Nationals. I just got a feeling the Cubs sort of, even though they turned it on late, sort of leapt into the playoffs this year. And I think the Nationals will expose them a little bit. I think they beat them in 5 games, but this series could go either way. Dodgers and Diamondbacks. Of course, I got the Diamondbacks winning the wild card game, so they would face the Dodgers. I got the Dodgers winning in 4 games. Just think the Dodgers are a little bit deeper, and they had that extra time off to set up their rotation. Of course, Kershaw will start game 1. Now Arizona probably don't know who's gonna start their game 1 yet. Just because they don't know if they're gonna get by Colorado, but it's not gonna be Gricky for sure. So we'll see how that turned out. But I got the Dodgers winning in 4 games. Move on to the NLCS, so that means I have the Dodgers and the Nationals here. I got the Dodgers winning in 6. Like I said, I'm worried about that Scherzer injury. I think the Dodgers are the better team, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm being stubborn. I picked the Dodgers to win the World Series in the beginning of the season, so I'm definitely gonna stick with them. The Nationals, really, like I said, I'm not sure they're gonna get by the Cubs, and then that series going 5 games is gonna hurt them, hurt their rotation. I think the Dodgers have had more rest, and I think that would be the difference in that series. I think they win in 6 games. So that means I got the Dodgers and the Indians in the World Series. That's who I picked from the beginning of the season. I'm not gonna waver off that right now. I meant to check the schedule. I mean the standings. I think the Dodgers have home field. I'm gonna check it right now. I think they got home field throughout. I think by a game over the Indians. Let's see. Yep, actually by 2 games. So the Dodgers will have home field. So that means the first 2 games will be in LA, then 3 in Cleveland, and then 2 in LA if it gets to 6 and 7. I'm gonna go with the Dodgers at 7 because this is a tough pick for me. My head has said the Indians, but my stubbornness has said the Dodgers. I picked them throughout the year. Like I said, they've been knocking on the door for years. That's my pretty much my theory on that. They've been close. Even though the Indians was very, very close last year. It'd be heartbreaking to lose 2 back-to-back game series game 7s, which would be difficult, especially for the city of Cleveland, what they've been dealing with throughout their sports history. It'd be tough. Well, it shocked me if they win it though. They got a heck of a team. Like I said, the Encarnacion signing was huge, and it's showing that it was. Just the Dodgers, I think they pitching staff starting wise a little bit deeper. I think Indians have the advantage in the bullpen slightly. Both of these teams match up well though. It should be a heck of a World Series if they both make it, and I believe they will. And I believe it'll be a classic 7-game series with the Dodgers winning the World Series, and hopefully making me look right. But I'm a little stubborn. Like I said, my head is telling me to go with the Indians, but I'm gonna stick with the Dodgers just because I picked them at the beginning of the season. Okay, so that's all. Of course, you won't know who MVP and Cy Young is till after the season. I'll see if I'm right about those. Only ones I feel good about is Chris Sale. He had a boss of the year. I picked up to be Cy Young. American League MVP, I had Trout. I think he missed too much time, so he might not win it. They might go to Aaron Judge or someone else. In the National League, pretty wide open. I had Bryce Harper, but he got hurt as well during the middle of the season. He was having an MVP year. Could pick a lot of people in the National League as well. Stanton had a monster year, even though the Marlins didn't make the playoffs with 59 home runs, of course. Exciting year comes to an end. Now it's time for the real season begins, the postseason. Definitely entertaining to watch. So that would do it for episode 33. Thank everybody for watching. Of course, the wildcard game starts tomorrow with the American League wildcard to kick us off, and the World Series will be near the end of October. I meant to start this off at the beginning of the show, but I want to send my condolences to all the people that suffered in the mass shooting in Las Vegas. Very sad situation. It's been all over the news. I'm usually not a news person. I don't watch a lot of news. Like I said, I'm not into politics, even though it's not politics, of course. It's just a sad story. I just cry for peace. That's all I stand for. All I stand for is peace. I don't stand for racism. I don't stand for the divisiveness that's in this country right now. I had my own views on a lot of things. I touched on them throughout my blogs. I'm not going to get really deep into that right now, but I just cry for peace. I just hope it's peace, not in just America, in the world. Senseless violence is never condoned at all, period. And I just hope we able to come together as a nation and move on from this. But it's definitely a huge tragedy, and I hope the people of Las Vegas is able to find peace. With that being said, I thank everybody for watching. Of course, Wednesday, another blog coming up. Of course, the Thursday Night Football edition, as the New England Patriots coming off a huge loss to the Carolina Panthers. So now this game is very interesting with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a skimming their teeth winning of their own against the New York Giants. So a huge Thursday night game as both teams try to establish themselves and move forward. And check out all the rest of my projects, my video game playthroughs, the retro series projects I got right now. Check all that stuff out. So that will do it here. I'm gonna wrap it up and say good afternoon. Thank you to all my loyal subscribers for watching. Enjoy the MLB playoffs if you're a baseball fan. A lot more coming up throughout the week as Russell Westbrook got his money as he stayed with OKC. A lot of stuff to talk about Saturday too on my normal blog. So a lot of things to get into this week. Solid the Assassin, also known as Troy West, of course. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys next time. Enjoy your week, and I'll talk to you guys Wednesday. Thank you so much.